Do you ever feel like your brain just has way too many tabs open? Like you're being pulled in a million different directions, but you're not actually getting anywhere? Well, if you've ever felt scattered or overwhelmed or just kind of broken in this modern world, then this is for you. We're going to challenge that entire story you've been telling yourself. I want you to just picture it for a second. That half-finished coding course, the fancy guitar you used, twice? The stack of books on that one subject you swore you were going to become an expert in? We all have this collection. Some might call it a pile of good intentions, or maybe a little more darkly, your graveyard of abandoned hobbies.
And every time a new spark of interest hits, there's that little voice in the back of your head, right? It whispers, "Oh, here we go again. Why can't I just pick one thing and stick with it?" It's such a heavy question, and it makes you feel like a failure for not being a specialist. But what if I told you this isn't a flaw? What if it's actually the blueprint for a different and maybe even more powerful kind of mind?
Okay, so to really understand what's going on, we have to look at the environment our brains are swimming in every single day. Let's call this first part of the problem what it is: the age of brain rot.
Now, you probably think the biggest issue is that you're using your phone too much, all that scrolling. But the cognitive science shows something way more subtle and honestly a bit more unnerving. The real damage isn't just coming from when the screen is on.
Yeah, researchers actually have a name for this whole phenomenon. They call it brain drain. It's a documented state where simply having your smartphone nearby, and get this, even when it's off, even when it's face down on the table, it literally hijacks a piece of your brain power. A part of your mind is constantly working just to not pick it up, and that effort drains your mental battery.
And this isn't just a theory. Look at the data from a key study. It found a direct link. The closer your phone is to you, the worse you actually perform on cognitive tests. Your working memory and your fluid intelligence take a nosedive. Your phone literally becomes an invisible thief, stealing your focus just by being in the same room.
But it's not just the phone's presence, is it? It's the habits that it drills into us. And this leads us directly to the second part of the problem, what we can call the multitasking illusion.
So what's the real cost of switching from writing an email to checking that one quick message? Well, research by a psychologist named David Meyer found that this constant switching can slash your productivity by as much as 40%. 40! We feel like we're getting more done, but in reality, we're just doing less and doing it badly.
But here is the truly hidden cost. After just one of those little interruptions, how long do you think it takes for your brain to fully get back in the zone? A minute? 2? Nope. Studies in interruption science show it can take nearly half an hour. Now just think about how many times you get interrupted in a single hour of work.
So the crucial point is this: your brain doesn't actually multitask on complex stuff. It can't. What feels like doing two things at once is really just your brain frantically switching back and forth. And that toggling, it is mentally exhausting and, as we just saw, incredibly inefficient.
Okay, so that's the bad news, right? It feels like our brains are under constant assault. But the good news is we can absolutely fight back. And that brings us to the solution: resetting your brain.
The first thing to do is a foundational reset using two really powerful practices. First up, a dopamine fast. This is about taking a deliberate break from all those high stimulation activities. The whole goal is to let your fried reward pathways in your brain calm down and return to their natural baseline. And second, mindfulness practice. Now, this isn't about emptying your mind. It's about training it, like a muscle, to notice when your attention has wandered, and then, without any judgment, gently guiding it back.
And here's a really critical mindset shift you have to make. That feeling of being distracted all the time, that is not a personal failure. Your brain was built to be distractible. Think about it. Our ancestors who got distracted were the ones who noticed the predator in the bushes. They're the ones who survived. So the goal isn't to become some kind of focused robot who never gets distracted. The real goal is to get better and faster at noticing the distraction and then choosing where to put your focus back. Now, once you've started to reclaim a bit of that focus, we get to the most powerful part of all this. This is where we take that whole graveyard of hobbies idea and we totally reframe it into what I love to call the pattern weaver superpower.
See, the world is always telling us to be a specialist, to pick one thing and dig one deep, narrow well of knowledge. Their value is in that depth. But the pattern weaver, they operate totally differently. They walk the whole landscape, taking samples from lots of different wells. Their value isn't depth, it's breadth, and most most importantly, it's synthesis. They're the ones who can see how an idea from botany might unlock a huge breakthrough in computer science.
A perfect modern example of this is Steve Jobs. After he dropped out of college, he just randomly decided to audit a calligraphy class. By all accounts, a completely useless skill for a tech guy, right? But years later, when he was designing the very first Macintosh, he remembered all those lessons about typography and spacing. He weaved what everyone thought was a useless artistic thread right into the fabric of computer engineering, and he gave us the beautiful fonts we all take for granted today. That wasn't a specialist idea. That was a pattern weaver's synthesis.
So how do you actually harness this power in your own life? Try a technique called curiosity sprints. Instead of saying, I'm going to learn to code, you frame it as a sprint. Step 1, define a really short time frame like 4 weeks. Step 2, set a small, specific project goal. And step 3, the most important part, you complete it and you're done guilt-free. At the end, you can start a new sprint or just move on. You didn't abandon a hobby. You successfully completed a curiosity sprint and you added a new thread to your tapestry.
Okay, let's bring all this home. Let's do our final synthesis. It is time to transform that nagging feeling of failure into an actual source of strength. We're moving from the graveyard to the garden. So here is the final reframe, the one thing I want you to take away from all this. That collection of half-read books and abandoned projects, it is not a testament to your lack of focus. It's not a graveyard. It is the rich, fertile soil where your unique contributions are going to grow. Every single one of those seemingly random interests has given you unique nutrients, preparing you to connect ideas in a way that literally no one else on Earth can.
You see, you're not scattered, you're a collector of dots, and your true superpower lies in connecting them. So the only question that really matters now is this. Looking at all the rich, diverse soil you've cultivated over your lifetime, what dots are you going to connect first?